You're now listening to the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. And now your hosts, Christian and Kris, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports.
Let's go. Welcome everybody into the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. I am your host, Christian_CFS, and we have the co-host here, Mr. Kris.
Good morning. Hey, what up, my good people? Shalom, my Kim, to all my good people, and shalom, my Kim, to my bad people. May you do become good. I want to apologize. I'm a little under the weather. I won't talk as much, but as you see, if you hear me coughing, I apologize. I do have a cough and I have a headache, so bear with me, please.
Oh, we're going to let him push it through, y'all. Let's go and get into this thing. Yes, he made a commitment. And this is episode 18, everybody. 1-8 in the building. Thank you for everybody out there that actually is listening to the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And give us a 5-star rating on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, wherever you're located. We greatly appreciate you. And let's go on and dive deep into this week's episode. In the first segment, we are going to talk about some CGP news. And if you don't know what CGP stands for, that is the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. That's what you're actually listening to right now. And in the news right now, we're going to talk about that Travis Kelce ankle injury, which we see and we know how it is with the high ankle sprain. Like, it's pretty much like a tolerance thing. Or so he could end up missing 4 games. But with him missing 4 games, the thing about it is that the one thing I can see is that he physically is still himself, but he might have to get that Patrick Mahomes treatment like he got up in the Super Bowl, which is pretty much getting a shot right before every game, and also getting that same shot during halftime. But that was a real.
Is that what happened with Pat?
I know he got the shot probably, and I'm not a doctor. Anybody, if there is anybody a doctor out there, please let me know the actual diagnosis of what actually really did happen. But I'm assuming that he did get a shot during the Super Bowl, which ended up making him, or it was whatever that game was, whenever he was limping, and then all of a sudden he came out of nowhere, and then people was like, "Why is he not limping?" Come on, everybody. You know this is the NFL. They got that special treatment that we can't even get.
Shoot him up.
But yes.
I'm not mad at it. But Travis Kelce. I heard, yes, I experienced you for 4 weeks, and I heard it say leaving it up to him. He said the pain tolerance. I don't know about him. I would probably sit a week or two. Just depends on who they're playing next. But if you have him on your fantasy team and I wouldn't don't stress too much. I was afraid because I had him on 2 of my fantasy teams.
Shoot, I got him on 1 too.
He went down without being touched. I said, "Oh no, here we go." And I saw his ankle kind of go like that or whatever. I said, "Oh no." But high ankle sprain, I'll take that. If you're 4-1, 3-2, you can probably live without him for a couple of weeks. As long as you want him on the back last 7 or 8 games, you want him.
So would you want him to sit on Thursday night? And it's a quick turnaround, like Thursday night against the Broncos?
They play the Denver Broncos, who's trash? Yes, sit against Denver Broncos. Don't need you. Okay. Get you 10 days rest, come back in 10 days. Yeah. Don't even play. And I wouldn't even be mad.
I ain't gonna lie, dog. I would want him to play, but hey, I understand.
You want to make it worse, man.
That's the one thing is like you don't want to make it worse. So I will actually have him sit. Or as I'm saying, I ain't got a good tight end like I did before.
I mean, I got Goff and Kid my backup, so And then I had Sam Laporta, and I just traded him this week in one of my other leagues. So, I would still rather have you whatever, 8 through the finish, than you trying to be out there gutting it out and not producing. So, yeah. What else is in the news? I want to say one thing. What else is in the news is that Jamar Chase had a breakout game this week, and I just want to say that
I was about to say
wheel gets the oil.
Whenever he came out and he said publicly, "I'm always open," and then y'all can actually fill in that blank. Once he said that, you knew for a fact there was going to be some shock, sparks, anything that you could think of, fireworks going off, because they came to play.
And T. Higgins not there, so yeah, you already know what was happening.
I don't think we got anything else up in the news. We could probably figure out some stuff, but let's go on. I think that's pretty much it. In the next segment, we are going over the question of last week. That's the question of last week, not of this week, but of last week, to give us our answers on what we thought it was. So the question last week was, if you was a GM and then you started off 0-3, would you trade away one of your best assets just to try to regroup, or would you try to just kill your team off and then just think about getting more draft picks? Would you try to? Yep.
So for an example, if I'm the Vikings, right? Would I trade Jay Jetta?
Yeah.
With how their roster is constructed, I would not trade. Me personally, I wouldn't trade Jay Jetta. I would rather trade Kirk Cousins, see if I can get a late first. Because I'm already sucking, so this should be a top 10 pick for me, for the Vikings. Yeah, I'm not trading Jay Jetta. No. I mean, if I'm getting probably 3 first maybe. I'm not trading Jay Jetta. Because
I really don't think
he's coming out.
Hold on now. There are some good rookies, 2024 QBs coming out, but they ain't the same as Kirk Cousins. I will say that. Because as y'all can see, prime example, I'm going to use my team back there that y'all, because we got Bryce Young, the number 1 overall pick, supposed to be very savvy. But like what people really don't realize is that he's a rookie coming out, and he has to get adjusted to the speed of the game. This ain't college anymore. Yes, he was playing against Alabama in practice all the time, but Alabama is not the pro athletes. They got guys that have the potential to be pro, but they're not pro athletes. But that's why you got to give people some patience. So even though me personally, I would try to get a rookie up in this 2024 class, but you already just got to know it's going to be a learning curve. Only because I said that they are going to be top 10. But then you got to think about it. Like, who would they actually trade Kirk Cousins to by the end of the trade deadline?
I think Atlanta would be viable. I think who else could be on the bubble as far as the playoff team? Atlanta. I'm not going to tell you they trash. Dang. Who else? Atlanta, Jaguars, Bills, Texans, no. Panthers, no. Titans, Colts, no. Giants, no. Saints, no. Patriots, Ravens, Steelers. Man, I guess looking like this. We just scrolling down who played today.
Yeah, I don't.
Bears are not competition. Commanders, no.
I don't see a team, to be honest with you.
The only team,
maybe the Jets.
If they're in playoff contention, maybe the Jets. If they're in playoff, but you don't want Kirk Cousins because right, they already saying that Matthew Stafford, the Aaron Rodgers is going to be back.
He's trying to come, but yeah. So
you don't want to sign Kirk Cousins. You don't want to bring Kirk Cousins in for 8 games, 10 games, or whatever.
To be honest with you, I don't even think Kirk Cousins is actually going to get traded. To be honest with you, bro, like straight up, only because of.
So you think he's going to be on a free agent market?
Yeah, he's just going to hit the market.
They're going to play. They're going to play with him all year. Let him suck and just let him go for nothing.
I don't think. Who would they trade him to though? Like they ain't got nobody out there.
Is Atlanta. Who did play this week? The Chargers. Who did play? The Chargers didn't play. The Browns didn't play. It's 14 didn't play. Chargers, the Browns, the Seattle Seahawks, and somebody else. So all who got in the quarterback, the Falcons. So you might be right. They have no choice but to ride him out and let him just stink off the joint and let him find a new team on the free agent market. But back to what you said a little earlier, that it's easier for Jay Jetter to come in with a veteran quarterback than a rookie quarterback coming in with a veteran wide receiver. So yes, they should get a rookie quarterback, but I just wouldn't trade Jay Jetter.
Nah, I think that's going to be a real good question of the week later on up in the season. What you should do if your team actually, like if you are the GM and you're blowing up everything, what would you do?
Because that could be a 2, 3, 4 window. Your window. You don't want that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it could be like that's the thing about like when you're actually starting off bad. Like, what do you do as an actual organization? Do you blow it up, or do you just have to stick with it and just keep going?
And luckily, their team isn't bad on paper. They have weapons, right?
Nope.
Left tackle, they got Darrisaw. They got Darrisaw. They got the rookie wide receiver, and they have Jay Jetter.
Yeah.
At least 50 was on defense, but you got the weapons. You don't have to turn it into like a 3-4 year program. You take your team in a year, I think.
Yeah. In the next segment, we are going to do week 5 highs. We're going to do week 5 highs. And yes, if y'all are not looking at there, make sure you go to YouTube so you can see these nice thumbnails of the 2 of week 5 highs is Adam Thielen. And we had to put some George Pickens out there. Especially with these 2 guys, they actually hitting it for like the first time. Let's go and go over the week 5 highs as of now. And we are watching this as during the Dallas and 49ers game right now. So if anybody does explode during that game, you already know, like CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, if they do explode, then already add them to the list and we'll just knock whoever off. But at the quarterback position, we got some similar people out there again. And then one surprise. We have Justin Fields, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and Desmond Ridder.
Wait a minute.
You want to say a little bit of who?
Joe Burrow didn't make it?
He was 7th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was close. But your boy Desmond, because he ended up running in for a touchdown, ended up changing everything. Yeah, and that's the shocker right there that I was shocked about when I saw that he was on there. I was like, did he really do something that good?
He threw for 329 today. They threw the ball way too much. I guess because they couldn't run the ball today. Could not run the ball. They tried. I mean, Bijan had 14 attempts, and I think what's his face had 16 attempts. Algier,
yeah,
just could not get that run game going. So he had to throw the ball. But do you know? Quick stat: he has never lost at home in college or the pros.
Desmond Ridder.
Yep, he has not lost at Cincinnati at home, nor has he lost in Atlanta at home.
No, I did not know that. Did not as a starter. So for you betting people out there, I want to keep that up in your back pocket. Just
never mind. I bet we pushed today. I betted them today -2, and they pushed. They almost lost it. Shout out to Young Wei Koo, but at least get my money back.
Yeah, because I thought Houston was going. Yeah. In the week 5 high running backs, we got Mr. Travis Etienne Jr. showed out there up in London for everybody. Then we had Zach Moss let people know, hey, Jonathan Taylor, I know you're just coming back this week, so dogs, just go and sit back and then get used to the actual playbook and then just watch how I handle everything right now. Then you have Mr. Breece Hall get back to his thing. And, hey, man, this guy might be legit, Mr. Devon A-Chain. And then we have Mr. David Montgomery, which he is doing what he is supposed to be doing with a better role in that Jamal and Jahmyr Gibbs did not play, so he did do his thing.
He did do his thing. Shout out to Breece Hall. He's no longer on a pitch count.
Nope.
All the work. Devon A. Chain, this is the third week in a row. I'm hearing you. I can't remember when he went in our league. He probably should have been higher. Probably should have been higher than Gibbs at this point. So
he went in the first round, like I think like top 6. I think he went top 6.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, he went top 6 though.
I didn't see this, but yeah.
So I didn't see this early. I'll say that. I saw it coming because he's a rookie, and then with Miami's offense out there, I didn't expect for him to physically hit the map right now. One, we didn't expect for Raheem Mostert to miss camp a little bit at the beginning of the season, and then also Jeff Wilson is not there as well. So hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. Hey, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like, if you're gonna give me the rock to shine, I'm gonna make sure that you know who my name is, and so whenever Jeff Wilson does come back, that the coach can be second guessing, be like, well, we got this rookie right now, and he's been doing pretty good, and he's actually pretty hot going on right now. So we're gonna hold the brakes off on you, and we're gonna let him steer the ship until we know for a fact that, okay, hey, now it's time for you to get in.
Between me and you, I think Jeff Wilson lost his spot. And I said that Jeff Wilson was going to be the guy there.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. Although he did get hurt, so they kind of put it to it. But yeah.
And then our week 5 highs for the wide receivers, we got Mr. Jamar Chase did his thing for the 3 tutties.
Let's go.
For the 3 tutties. And then we also got Mr. DJ Moore came out and shined on Thursday night to let them know that, yes, we are here.
A quick shout out to my co-host for saying that DJ Moore is one of those players you just got to leave him in, and just what happens, happens. I left him in, and what happened.
Hey, you just got to let it happen. That's just the name of the game. It's sort of like a Tyreek Hill, but he's not Tyreek Hill. Like, you just got to leave your guys in, and just, hey, if he does a good week, he does a good week. But if he balls out, he balls out. And we are talking about Tyreek Hill because he is the number 3 of your week 5 highs for the wide receivers. Then we have Mr. Adam Thielen as well. Mr. Adam Thielen, yes, as y'all listened to the podcast last week, I did say do not play any Panthers wide receivers or players whatsoever. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. At this case, that's the only person that you want to get for the Panthers. And if you can pluck him off somebody, if you need like a flex guy just to stash, he might be your guy just to stash, just to get him off a team. Especially if you're like a contender or something like that, and then you need a flex position. Mm-hmm. Give up your second round pick, maybe even your first, just to get him. Like,
would you? Okay, quick question. Would you trade first for Adam Thielen? If Adam Thielen stays on his trajectory, get about eight catches a game, maybe to target, would you trade a first? Let's say late first, Adam Thielen.
If I'm a back half, yeah. I'll give a first up for him.
And you're contending?
I'm trying to contend, so I'm giving up. Right. Well, if I'll say this, if you do need the spot just to have it, then that's where I would play around with it, because technically, if you needed the flex, then I would give it up. But if you don't need it, then I'll probably try to kick like a second and some thirds, or like a second and then like a player just to get Adam Thielen. I would do something like this. I would do like a second, and then maybe somebody would take like a Scary Terry. A second, and then like Terry for like Adam Thielen. So that's what I would do. If just a suggestion out there. And then the last guy, we have Mr. George Pickens. Mr. George Pickens is finally doing his thing up in Pittsburgh, which we already knew he had the potential. He just needed the opportunity. And once Claypool got out of there, he was granted that opportunity. And that is your week 5 highs. And that is not including the Sunday night games or your Monday night games. The week 5 lows. And man, there are some guys out here that you question a little bit. So in your week 5 lows, the list is shorter than like what it is for the week 5 highs, because there's not really that many guys that that actually did what you expect. We do have Mr. Lamar Jackson out there because for some reason, Lamar is not playing this week. He didn't play up to like the tier of like what he was supposed to be, and we do know it was a rivalry game against the Steelers, so we do know that those games will be battling back and forth because they do know each other pretty well.
They were in at the Steelers, so yeah, it was in full field.
Yep.
So.
And this next guy, I'm trying to see. I don't know what the word is going for with this guy, but Mr. Daniel Jones, they need to put like an APB out up on him because, man, a lot of people have been high on Daniel Jones, talking about with Dayball being back into the swing of thing year 2, he was gonna be like Josh Allen. And
so I got something to say real quick. I apologize. I did have that. I apologize to my people again. I got some losses. I got some wins too. Also, some great suggestions. But Daniel Jones is garbage. I knew he was garbage all off season, and I let somebody who's been a co-host, or who's been a guest on this podcast, your favorite author, let him get into my head, talk me into putting him as my QB12 this year. And I apologize to y'all. I should have stuck with my guns. I knew he was a garbage can. I knew the Giants overpaid him. Yeah. Oh, I do hear something about the names. It just dawned on me. Go ahead. That's all I got to say about Daniel Jones. I apologize to people.
Yeah, man. And Daniel Jones is trash. I mean, straight garbage.
And we know it. I know it.
You want to know what he is right now? You want to know what he is? He is a fraud in a Mr. Rogers sweater.
He got $140 million, $160 million.
They should just pay Saquon.
Hey, now I did say that.
Yeah, should have paid Saquon. Because we was trying to talk about the price and everything, but in the running back week 5 lows, we have Mr. Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris, and then Mr. Miles Sanders. Well, we already know Ramondre Stevenson. They got blown out by the New Orleans Saints, and then Najee. It seems like they are starting to take the role away from Najee to give it to Jaylen Warren. But it is early of the season, and you know how just one injury away, one touch away from actually getting back into like the good graces with like Tomlin and Miles Sanders. Oh my goodness! The reason why I have him on here as a week 5 lows is because one, he is not doing what everybody expected him to do when y'all took him up in like the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round for all my guys out there in redraft. And this is the reason why I said, as of right now, the Panthers stink. You don't even want to own anybody on that team. Besides for Adam Thielen. Besides for Adam Thielen, everybody. That's the only person that you want to own is Adam Thielen. For your wide receivers in your week 5 lows for the wide receivers, we have Mr. Garrett Wilson, Mr. Terry McLaurin, and Mr. Chris Olave, and Mr. Michael Pittman. And yes, Chris Olave is there. Yes, he is there 2 weeks up in a row. But that is okay. That also gives you, everybody out there, that if you are high on Chris Olave, like I still am, it still gives you that window just to buy low on him. And he's a very particular player just to get as a buy low candidate. I see him as what I did last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I still have faith in Amon-Ra. And this is just for me being a believer. I gave up 2 firsts for him, and that's just me. If you can give up like a first and like maybe a second or a third just to get that, then just go and smash that trade. Because you also got to think about like Chris Olave, he is the number 1 there. With him being the number 1, he is eventually going to get himself right. This is the time that you capitalize. Capitalize as much as you can possible with getting players that are actually in the week 5 low. So that's what you got to realize, and that's what you got to look at is these guys that you're looking at. Chris Olave can potentially be a wide receiver 1 any day. And you also got Mr. Garrett Wilson as well, who can be a wide receiver 1 as well. And in the next segment, we got the jerseys or bench. Jersey or bench. And that was the last week brand new episode that we brought to the table. And we're going to bring it back again. And we just want to give everybody the nice and information that you do need. Just know about the jerseys and then the bench. So on the jersey squad, this is a guy who you either have the potential in trading for just to get him up on a low week. One of the guys I'm about to mention, actually two of the guys up in the quarterback position, you're probably not going to be able to get them because they actually was on the week 5 highs. But if they do end up dropping down below again, do what you can do just to try to get these guys. Because I think, true-heartedly, I know my co-host is really high on Joe Burrow, and I'm definitely high. Like I said from the very beginning, I'm high on pretty much all the Lions.
Yeah.
All the Lion players, I'm pretty high on. And Jared Goff is one QB who I'm high on. To actually, even though in my league I did end up trading him away for a first. Well, I gave up a first, and then I gave up a first and Goff for Travis Etienne. So, and Travis Etienne balled out this week, so it actually showed up. In the running back position, we still got Jahmyr Gibbs on there. We still think he is a buy low candidate that you can try to sneak in there and end up getting him. The same thing with Ramondre Stevenson. I really still think he's I'm still a believer. I'm still a believer only because of like we know how the Patriots are, but they got blown out. What you expect? Like unless they go, unless they are going to put in Zappy in there at Dagon QB, which they might if they end up keep losing like this. You also got to think about it. Like if you do get Ramondre, he can just be your third flex type of running back instead of like a tier 2. But he does have the potential to be a tier 1, tier 2 running back for yourself.
I don't know about that.
I know. I'm still a believer. I stay true. I stay true to my guys. The next one is I still have him on there. Like this is his second game up in the offense. Is Cam Akers? You did see a little flash of him in the Kansas City Chiefs offense and everything. So he did do his thing a little bit. So he still has a potential. You probably have like a little bit. This probably might be the last week window just to get him to be like a flex player for you. Then also we have JT who just came back. He didn't perform well, so there still might be owners that are upset. So you still might be able to get a good trade offer for him. Me personally, I will tell you with what I was offered in one of my leagues, y'all are probably going to say that I should take this ASAP, but I'm not going to do that. I got to actually wait and see and play the table because I was offered 2 first-round picks for Jonathan Taylor. And you remember what we talked about too is I was going to try to get rid of JT this year for 2 firsts.
You say you did not take it?
I did not take it. Like it's still up on the table, but it's like the person who offered me it, they're number 1 up in my division, and I can't give that up to somebody that's up in my division.
Oh, okay. Oh, so, this is
yeah,
cash
let's
money.
not. Yeah, it's cash money. So cash money offered me 2 firsts for JT, and I did not take it because the 2 firsts are late in first. So if his team ends up continuing to be good, most likely the picks could be ranging from at least 1.09 to like 112. And he also has my pick too. So my team is a contender, and it is still a contender.
I think his team is a fraud though. I don't want to say fraud. Maybe fraud is harsh. Like you said, he has targeted to a time coming about lower. So it either could be a boom or it could be a bust.
Mm-hmm.
Get you on a bust week, you got it. But yeah, I don't think his record is as strong as his team. Let me say that. Right now he's the Vikings of last year.
Yeah. Yep. And then in the wide receivers, the guys that actually got the jerseys on the wide receivers, we still got Mr. Jordan Addison out there. That is still a guy who I'm very confident in that you can probably pluck him off somebody's team because he still has the potential to be that Adam Thielen. And you also got to remember, guys, this is the beginning of the season. So if you do have an owner out there that is 0-3 and that is not or potentially about to be, we 0-4 now? So it's like 1-4, either 2-3. Then somebody swinging, you might be able to get Mr. Jordan Addison off their teams just to stash them on your team because we do know one thing is that if you are that guaranteed rookie, which he is in that offense, he will end up turning it on. So do what you can early just to capitalize on the very end, right before y'all's playoff time. The next guy that we also have too now is Mr. George Pickens. I'm still high on George Pickens as well. Just like as you can see, like this past week, he did end up doing his thing and ended up being up in like our week 5 highs. So y'all see that he does have that potential just to be there. And now since Claypool is out the way, the price still might be high on him, but just still monitor it and see if he does have like a down week, like a week or two. And then you can end up capitalizing as well, just so you can stash him. Just throw out to the guy like, hey man, I see that Mr. George Pickens like let you down this week. I'm gonna use the same example again. Would you trade Terry McLaurin and then like a third or like a second just to get George Pickens?
Yes. Where you from? Yes. Yes. If I needed a good flex, yes. Second or third, George Pickens. Get rid of Terry McLaurin, who's hadn't panned out, don't have a quarterback.
And that's the thing that sucks right there. Is that, all right, at the wide receivers, the second other two is I have Mr. Chris Olave on there, and then I have Mr. Garrett Wilson. These are guys, like I said before, I'm very faithful in Chris Olave that he's going to turn around this season, and especially with the Saints having a week schedule. You got to find a way just to capitalize up on Chris Olave, like because eventually, like this is like you got to buy low. But I mean, this is a window right here that it's like it's starting to close up. Like, and then once it closes up, do not regret daggone not getting Mr. Chris Olave on your team. And Mr. Garrett Wilson, like that's your week. Like I told everybody before, if y'all listen to this podcast, if you did not, we greatly appreciate you actually listen to this podcast right now. And then I have been very high on Mr. Garrett Wilson. Said I would have taken him at 1.07 over Travis Kelce, like during the off season, and this was all because Aaron Rodgers was there, and I felt like he was going to do the same or similar numbers to Devontae Adams whenever he had them. But right now, we really can't tell that. So, Garrett Wilson is still a guy who I think I will try to get and just stash him. So in our next segment, it is our bench squad. Our bench squad who we are going to say like, hey, they're either like a sell high type candidate or a guy that shouldn't even just leave your bench whatsoever. It might be close to like cutting some of them, to be honest with you. And the one person who I'm talking about off gate is Bryce Young again. And yes, he did a little thing, but he's still throwing those 2 interceptions, still hurting the team. But he's also a rookie, so it might be time just to go in. If you're in Dynasty, you still can probably hold on to him. But if you're in redraft, just go on and cut him and don't even think about it.
I think you're missing somebody on here.
Who?
Webb Jones.
That is, I should put.
Yeah, get that definitely out of here.
Yep.
I can't stand him, so I definitely want to shit on him anytime I can.
And then I got Mr. Kenny Pickett on there. I'm kind of ruffling around because he did just have a good game, but is he like he's sort of like the Joe Burrow type of deal where he was trying to he's trying to get up in the good graces of us over here. Joe just Burrow? Like, and then look what done happened. Joe Burrow done went off and threw for like 4-5 tutties, 3 to daggone Jamar Chase, and but
I don't know if I would. I don't know.
In the run,
I mean, I'm not high on Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry. I'm not high on Kenny Pickett anyway, but I don't know if I would bench him. If you can get like a high second round pick for him, by all means, yes.
Yeah. In the running back position, we got Mr. Miles Sanders. I'm talking about dude. Like I said before, the Panthers team right now, he stinks. So I wouldn't even, if you're in redraft, you might just have to throw him to the bench until hopefully and pray that he ends up getting back into the swing of things like what the Panthers paid him to do. But like as of right now, Then we also going to bring up Mr. Zeke Elliott. It's just the whole Patriots running backs. Like, what you got a QB like Mac Jones who is not delivering like how he should be delivering, it's not helping the actual running game. What is not helping the running game, you're not even helping the passing game as well. So as of right now, we got Mr. Zeke. You need to actually have him on the bench and just pray and hope. Personally, I'll drop Zeke. But if you want to keep him up on your bench just to stash him, just do your thing and just keep him down there and stash. But do not expect high things from him, especially if they're going to keep Mac Jones in at QB. And another guy that I just added is Mr. Tyler Algier. Like, he has went ghost, and we kind of knew this was going to happen, but he did have a good game against Carolina, which we can already see now. Carolina's defense is not as good as what we thought it was going to be, but he had a good game, and now the dude hasn't scored in double-digit points since that week. So that's very interesting right there.
No big one. I do have one thing to say about Tyler Algier. I did hear today that, which as a Bijan owner in multiple leagues, I did hear them today say they want to get him more involved, or you know what I'm saying, get him going. I mean, he might be averaging more. I know the last 2 weeks he's had more rushing attempts than Bijan. So we just hadn't been producing, and the rushing was just down today for the whole team as a whole. But so yeah, take that little tidbit as you may with that. I hope that was just talk. That's what they're supposed to say, but they really it's Bijan is the man. Because obviously he's clearly better.
All right. Then the next one, we have the wide receivers. We have Mr. Curtis Samuel. And I think Mr. Curtis Samuel, he's a sell high candidate. Like, yeah, he boomed this week. Maybe you might be able to pick off. Maybe you might be able to include him in like maybe you can include him into a trade just to get a higher caliber wide receiver that's actually having like a down week.
That's a cherry on top. Because who's he play for again? I can't remember.
You said what?
Curtis Samuel, who's he play for again?
He plays for the Commanders, where Terry McLaurin is at. So
that's right. Go ahead, keep going.
So, and then on top of that, we also have the Broncos wide receivers. Like, I do not know what is going over there with the Broncos wide receivers with Russell at QB, and I know the co-host is probably going to say a little bit about this because we already know Sean Payton wanted to go to the Chargers, but personally right now, man, I don't know what you do with the Broncos wide receivers. You probably just got to pray and hope that they end up getting traded off and traded away to a better team. Anything like that, just to be able to keep them to like where they need to be.
And what's crazy is they don't have a first round pick this year.
Nope.
They traded it to what's his face still owns it. Seattle still owns it. And it's just all bad. And I feel bad for Sean Payton. I feel bad a little bit for Russ, but Russ from the stories I heard from Russ last year, I hope this is even more humbling to him. The way he apparently acted, like I'm a little disappointed in Russ, but Sean Payton should have held out for one more year, man. Just get on into the job you wanted came on. I know he's probably itching to get back out there, right? He probably at home with his wife, like, man, I need to get back to coach. Hey, but he should have had that one more year to the job he wanted came up, and I'm sure Walmart threw the bag at him, and that make anybody change their mind, but. Yeah, they're gonna try to trade Cortland Sutton this offseason. Probably try to get a second round pick.
Yeah,
it's gonna help. They're gonna try to trade Jerry Jeudy. I don't know. They probably need to.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. Try to get they need to get a first somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
Who wants Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy for a first round?
Nobody.
Right.
because that high contract. But then next is we have Mr. Marquise Brown. Mr. Marquise Brown. Then like the Cardinals have actually been doing their thing a little bit. And would you actually trade to get Marquise Brown on your team?
As you saying that, I want to look at his stats today. Do you know his stats offhand?
Not off the top of my head, but I can.
What about like his season stats? So he had today.
He's finished number 16 right now. So
he's number 16 wide receiver.
Yeah.
He
So
had
right now,
61 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. So right now, in fantasy points wise, they haven't been too good, to be honest with you. Besides for like this last week, so that's why I was like, is he like a sell high candidate just because he did good this week?
If you can get a late first for him, or even an early second, go get it. If you get somebody else,
if you can get a second for him,
it's an idiot. Go get him. It's strike when the iron's hot, and the iron is hot today because you just had 4 cases sitting on the
Oh yeah,
wide receiver 16.
Yep. So that was the bench squad segment. Please, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. Don't forget to give us a 5-star ratings. And we're going to go to our last segment, which is question of the week. And this week, question of the week, as I start looking at this game and saying and then understanding like what the team's actually getting blown out. If you have a rookie QB and then they are just not getting you what you're expecting in like wins and losses, should you keep them in and let them learn on the fly? Or if you're in a win now mode, should you pull the rookie out just so you can get wins?
So, can you give me a team that you're? Well, I'm going to answer this next week. But can you give me a team are you thinking about the Panthers or are you thinking about another team?
The Panthers, they can be in that right now off gate. Like, would you bench Bryce Young, everybody out there, and then start Andy Dalton just so you can get wins? Because as of right now, like your first overall pick is to the Bears.
I think at this point, you just leave him in. As long as he's not getting killed, just leave him in. Because, like you say, you don't have your first round pick, you're going to lose him. You're going to lose Andy Dalton anyway. So, you're not going to be no playoff contender. So, maybe you don't let the Bears have a good top pick, but he need reps. He need to learn.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Peyton Manning with 3-13.
Yeah.
And then the next year he went 13-3. So
that is very.
I said he's Peyton Manning. I'm just saying you have a shitty rookie year and come back and ball. Trevor Lawrence, come back and ball. I should have known the bet San Fran minus 3.5. I thought about it all week. Why are you overthinking it? You know they're garbage. You know who they are. You know they don't show up in the prime time against the top team. Just bet them at the only thing. I was trying to wait to get to 3. It was still 3.5 earlier today. Think about the hook. I should have just took it. Just said that. But I digress.
That is the co-host. That is the co-host going in on his bets, everybody. And if y'all think we need to do like a little betting thing, like we're trying to get a couple of the other guys who are really good into betting and just have like a nice little betting podcast just so everybody can see it and everything. Just like let us know, man, because we also got to thank everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Gridiron Podcast. Don't forget to give a 5-star ratings, and we do thank everybody for listening all the way to the very around 45 minutes. If we can do it faster than that, we definitely will. And we're thinking about breaking these up into different segments so y'all can see them throughout the week. But just going to thank you, everybody, for coming out. Like, we greatly appreciate everybody. Any last words, Kris?
As usual, we thank you everyone for coming out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us, and we appreciate that. And once again, I apologize for my coughing. I'm a little under the weather. Pray for me to get better.
Yep, we're going to pray for you to get better so you can be stronger next week and so we ain't hearing none of that hacking or anything, or your brain not hurting or anything like that whatsoever. But we thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we out.
Thanks for checking out another episode of Cerberus Gridiron Podcast, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.